Welcome to Cloud Gaming X. I'm Sunny, and we're going to cover all the games coming out on Stadia in 2020, and this list will include re-releases of games that have already come out on other platforms, as well as exclusive titles and brand new titles coming out in 2020. And we'll cover release dates as well if they're available, so hit that like button if you can, sub if you're brand new and you're looking for more Stadia content, and let me know which games you're looking forward to the most in the comments section. But let's go ahead and get this kicked off with the re-releases, starting with Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this looter shooter, it's an excellent title and the second in the franchise, with the first releasing back in March 12th of 2019. And one that I personally put at least a good 40 to 60 hours in, and it's a complete blast. It's even more fleshed out now with more DLC since launch, and we'll be getting another excellent MMO type looter shooter like a Destiny, but not so futuristic. Gameplay mechanics are a lot of fun and improved over the first game, as enemies are not as big of damage sponges like in the first title. And this is just an excellent game. I'm excited to see this one and play it myself on Stadia, but as of right now we have no release date.
The Division. And history will remember us.
Next up on the list is The Elder Scrolls Online, and this first released back in April 2014, so this is an older title, but it's going to be, as of right now, the only MMORPG that has been slated to come out on the Stadia platform. And if you're unfamiliar with the concept of an MMORPG, it's a fully online game played with nothing but other players. Now, I'm not as familiar on this as the last time I played it was back in open beta of 2014, but this is a popular MMORPG, and it brings you into the world of Elder Scrolls. So you get all that lore and backstory goodness that comes with an Elder Scrolls title. This is one that I'm very much looking forward to diving back into and trying it out again, and the biggest plus here is that it does feature crossplay with PC players, so you won't be lacking in content with the group activities. ZeniMax has no confirmed release date for this on Stadia, but we'll keep you updated on the channel. Next up on the list is Doom, and this launched back in May 13, 2016. And with Doom Eternal literally a few months away from launch, I'm almost expecting this to stealth launch any day now. And this is a fun, crazy, wild first-person shooter that I think will be a ton of fun to experience on Stadia. And it should be out soon, so stay tuned for coverage on the channel as to when this releases. Superhot is an indie game that released back in February 2016 and has been on a few indie games of the decade list in the past few weeks from publications, so we're getting a pretty excellent title. Superhot is a first-person shooter featuring Matrix-like mechanics with slow motion and just unique gameplay. I'm actually very excited for this one since I've never played it, and I can't wait to play this one and test it out on Stadia, as it seems as though this is a great game to test the power of the cloud. Expect this one sometime in 2020. The Crew 2 released back in June 2018, and with us having a racing title like Grid already on Stadia, The Crew 2 stands out to be a lot less serious and a lot more wild. Featuring the ability to roam around in an open world, this will be a nice change of pace to have on the platform. At the moment, there is no release date for The Crew 2, but we will keep you notified when there is news. Next up, we're going to take a look at some timed exclusives. So none of these titles are pure exclusives to the Stadia, but will eventually be on other platforms at some point. With that said, let's start with Orcs Must Die 3. And this is going to be a very important title because it has features that will be exclusive to Stadia that no other platform will have. And that's the ability to feature a ton of enemies on screen. Orcs Must Die 3 is an action tower defense game, but has the ability to have up to 500 enemies in a single wave. So if you're someone who's looking to feature this game and show the power of the cloud, Stadia will be the place to experience this, regardless of it releasing on other platforms. No release date has been set for this, but stay tuned for the channel for when it does.
All right, heroes, you know what to do. Heroes got a hero, and Orcs Must Die 3.
Spitlings is a unique party game where if one person fails in your group, it's game over. This is one that's going to be a fun one to experience with an inspiration from hardcore classics from the past. The game features 100 stages in the story mode and over 30 characters to unlock. Now the visuals aren't too exciting and the game definitely has that indie vibe to it, but I'm still looking forward to testing this out and playing it and experiencing it on the cloud. Expect this one soon on Stadia, but no release date has been mentioned yet, so stay tuned. Get Pack definitely gives me an Overcooked and Overcooked 2 vibe, and it is inspired by it. If you're unfamiliar with games like these, they are fun party games in which you cooperate with your fellow players and see complete madness and chaos ensue, as everyone is typically screaming at each other to stop sucking. This is a complete awesome get for Stadia, featuring 1 to 4 player online co-op and regular co-op. There is a lot of physics-based interactions, and you can tell this is just going to be a complete blast, and hopefully they can replicate some of that Overcooked magic. I'll be looking forward to covering this sometime in 2020. Next up on the list is all new games coming out on multiple platforms, but these games here specifically have been announced to come out for Stadia, and some of these do have release dates, so let's kick this list off with Cyberpunk 2077, which will be coming on April 16th. And this is the latest title from CD Projekt Red with an open world, cyberpunk theme, and RPG elements with fully voiced over acting. If there's only one title you pick up this year, this is it. I haven't been this excited for a title in almost 4 years, so if that doesn't give you an indication on how big this one could potentially be, I don't know what will. Featuring dreamy Keanu Reeves, this is going to be, I think, the best title to release on Stadia all year, and yes, I'm totally jumping the gun, but I'm hyped and you should be too.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Destroy All Humans is a third-person open-world action game where you're doing exactly what the title says, you're destroying humans. This is the remake of a 2005 release, and it's a welcome addition here to Stadia. I never got to play this one back in 2005 as a young, bright-eyed teenager, but I'm really excited because I love games that let me be evil. This one is set to release sometime in 2020. Doom Eternal is a game that was intended to come out on November 26th, side by side with Stadia, but got delayed till March 20th. A sequel to Doom from back in 2016, it seems as though the team over at ID Software and Bethesda are making sure this title is ready to go in its best possible form. This is a high quality title with some awesome first person action combat, and we should be seeing this soon here on the platform, and I'll be excited to test this one out, so stay tuned for that coverage. Winjammers 2 is a sports game with a top-down perspective and some really awesome visuals. The game is best described as table hockey with a frisbee, and your goal is to score on the opponent's net. This is definitely a title that is a change of pace on this list, and you should expect to see it sometime in 2020. First officially announced at Google Stadia's pre-E3 event, Baldur's Gate 3 is a sequel to the second one that came out all the way back in the year 2000. So fast forward and here we are with Baldur's Gate 3, and if you're unfamiliar with the franchise, typically the gameplay is a top-down isometric old-school turn-based RPG. Now I couldn't find any gameplay on this as they are keeping a tight lid on this, but this might be one of the more exciting titles to come in 2020, and this is easily one of my most anticipated of the year. There is no official release date on this, so stay tuned for an announcement on this channel. Monster Energy Supercross 3 is an American motorcycle series, and with this title being the sequel to number 2, we're seeing some new improvements across the board, with new in-air physics, new rider models, and new animations that will hopefully create a more immersive experience. This game gives me some grid-like vibes, but for motorcycles, and I'm pretty excited to test this out as it will be my first foray into the franchise. This is releasing soon on February 4th, just some weeks away, so stay tuned for the coverage on this channel.
Can you be the best? Can you be the best? We'll gear it up and put it on a party up.
Monster Energy Supercross 3, the official
Marvel's Avengers is an upcoming action-adventure game set in the Marvel Universe. Published by Square Enix and developed by Crystal Dynamics, the same folks who have only worked on the Tomb Raider franchise, this is going to be an interesting title, to say the least. Featuring realistic graphics, fast action combat, this is a promising title set in a promising universe, so I'm really excited to see what this one does, and I can't wait to cover it on the channel, especially considering it's coming out soon on May 15th, 2020.
Well, what are we waiting for?
There isn't a crazy amount of information on Gods and Monsters. It's from the creators of the Assassin's Creed Odyssey, a game that I've gotten to love and play on Stadia, so I'm hoping for great things here. The story features a forgotten hero on a quest to save the Greek gods. Expect this one sometime in 2020. Last but certainly not least on this list is Watch Dogs Legion. It's a sequel to Watch Dogs 2, featuring a really cool new mechanic where every single character you see in the game, in the streets or otherwise, can be a potential recruit to your cause. The game is an open world action adventure featuring online co-op where you can work with your fellow players. This is easily one of my most anticipated titles of 2020 and could be a sleeper, so I'm definitely excited to play this one, and the release date is set for March 2nd, 2020, so right around the corner. Now, with all these titles set to come sometime in 2020, you can be sure to see coverage of every game here releasing on Stadia on this channel. So if you haven't subscribed and you haven't hit that like button, please do so, and stay tuned to this channel as any new games being announced for Stadia will be relayed here on Cloud Gaming X. Thanks again, I'm Sunny, and like always, I hope you guys all have a sunny day.